Welcome to the Effect of Mindfulness and Level of Education on Stress by Verena Long, sponsored by Dr. Julie Evie. Please feel free to take a deep breath as we begin. For students in higher education, stress is present. There may be different degrees of stress among individuals, but the commonality of its existence is not unfamiliar. Attending classes, meeting deadlines, taking exams, and juggling life circumstances require the ability of coping with perceived stress. Mindfulness may be a helpful tool to cope better with stress in body and mind. Mindfulness-based stress reduction consists of an 8-week intervention with 2.5-hour weekly meetings, a 1-day retreat session, and a 45-minute daily home practice. Evidence supports MBSR could help decrease stress, regulate the body's physical responses, and improve college students' mental health. The electroencephalogram, EEG, uses electrodes placed on the scalp to measure brain activity. It showed physiological indication that mindfulness improved emotional regulation, coping ability, reduction of stress, optimism, and more activation in the left side of the brain. EEGs even showed positive differences in immune responses after MBSR intervention in an experimental group versus the control group. Hormonal cortisol markers declined after mindfulness practice, and perceived stress can be higher when mindfulness is not practiced. Qi-gong is an older Chinese medicine dating back close to 3,000 years. It works with the body's meridian systems and organs to support well-being. Qi-gong could reduce blood pressure, cortisol, depression, anxiety, perceived stress, and pain levels. The question is, does mindfulness impact stress during various college levels of education? The novice mindfulness engagement in the novice college student, such as a freshman, could impact academic performance by increasing attention and awareness. 48 college students will be convenience sampled for psychology classes and offered extra credit for participation in this study. Participants will be matched into 3 categories determined by educational standing: freshmen and sophomores versus juniors and seniors versus graduate students. This will be a 2x3 mixed method design, and the intervention will take place over the duration of 1 semester. Participants will be randomly assigned to 2 groups, either the experimental or the control group. The experimental group of n equals 24 will be split into groups of 8 across 3 levels of 1 independent variable of course credit ranking. The groups will be exposed to Qi-gong and MBSR in a repeated measures design. The counterbalancing will be randomly assigned to each group. One group of n equals 8 will practice MBSR from the beginning of the 8-week period and then switch to the Qi-gong for the remaining of the 8-week period. The next group will do vice versa, as in Qi-gong first and then MBSR. The remaining group of n equals 8 will switch between the 2 practices weekly, rotating the pattern evenly throughout the 16-week duration. These events will be scheduled to student convenience, and they will be measured by the perceived stress scale, which is a 14-point scale that is easy to use. The perceived stress scale will be administered in a survey form in the beginning of the intervention and again at the end of the semester. The perceived stress scale will assess the degree to which the participants feel overwhelmed and lack of control in their lives. Let's talk about the results. A two-way ANOVA will be run to assess statistical significance between variables. If significance is established, a post hoc test will be conducted to analyze pairwise comparisons between college credit levels. The marginal means will be compared to determine main effect size for mindfulness, as well as main effect size for college credit hours. Based on the literature, freshman PSS scores may be higher than students with more credit hours in college prior to mindfulness meditation. The PSS scores should improve after mindfulness interventions. Both MBSR and Qi-gong have support for positive effects on well-being in body and mind. The results will be of interest to see which counterbalanced method was most effective in stress reduction. An interaction effect between mindfulness and class levels could be expected. Chang explained how perceived stress scale and mindfulness self-efficacy had a large effect size and strong correlation between variables among higher education students. These results indicated stress decreases when mindfulness increases and vice versa. The control group is expected to have higher PSS scores than the experimental group. Mindfulness could be the antidote for stress by engaging in internal process of reflection, non-judgment, and self-awareness. This could increase focus, attention, and work habits. This study aimed to discover if graduate students already have less stress due to the experience at college. Also, to compare different methods of mindfulness among different levels of college credit rankings. An extraneous variable of this study could be fatigue for students who may not be experienced in meditation. A limitation could be students who do not take the practice seriously and just want to earn the extra credit. A way to control for this would be allowing students to keep a journal and then reading their journal after to see how many times they took their practice serious. Another limitation could be pairing the college credits together with other levels. Future research may focus on freshmen and seniors only, or freshmen and graduate students only. This could allow for a wider range of variability for comparisons. Another experiment could compare different levels of mindfulness, such as yoga or breathing techniques. There is much room for research in this field. The psychological and physiological effects of mindfulness speak for themselves. Support for mindfulness reducing stress exists and could be helpful to college students to perhaps increase retention and graduation rates. If enough evidence is supported for mindfulness stress reduction among college students, a freshman course may be a future step. Mindfulness is helpful to students for their college career and perhaps for their entire life. Please review my references for further information. Thank you for your time.